off the down low. And we gon' give it to the most high. Time to make it call to DL. It's time to take it off the DL. Tell them what it's all about. God got it and he gonna bring it out. We all need to talk about it. Any problem, any situation. We gotta know the truth. So maybe you can help with the problem I'm facing. You ain't gonna heal till you keep it on the real. Yeah, that's even to the most high. And you ain't never gonna know if it's really gonna work if you don't try. Come on.
Where we're taking it off the DL and giving it to the Most High. This is your girl, DL Augustine, and you're listening to holyhillsradio.com, the #1 internet radio station in the country. All right. You can listen to us this evening by dialing on your phone, by dialing 401-347-0380, or watch us as we live stream on YouTube by entering the name of the show, Off the DL. So tonight, I'm so excited. I have some great guests for you. I am really excited about this subject matter. I'm passionate about it because I don't think we have enough understanding about it. And I have two wonderful guests that are going to speak to a very serious subject matter, and that is mental illness. And I am going to say mental illness, and then we're going to also compare it with some spirituality, because, you know, there's some confusion there, because a lot of people think because we're saved and, you know, we do believe in the power of healing and prayer, that sometimes we don't need to do some of the natural things that need to be done when there's subjects such as mental illness. And we will touch on that. But right now, I want to introduce you to my guest. To my left, we have the wonderful, the beautiful Tanisha McKenzie. Say hello to
Hello.
All right. Tamisha has a daughter who suffers from mental illness. So that's the capacity that she will be speaking in this evening. And we have a person who's a worker in the field, and she does so much. I'm not even going to tell you what she does. I'm going to let her tell you what she does. But her name is Loretta Barber. Miss Barber, say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, so right now, we are going to open up our show. Before we actually begin to speak about our subject matter, we're going to just say, if you're out there, and if you or someone you love or someone you know suffers from mental illness, or if you suspect that they do, you know, this is something that you want to just take a minute, sit down and listen to the show, because we're going to give you some valuable information, and we're going to do what I always do, and I'm hoping what you always do. At the end of the day, we're going to take it off the DL and give it to the Most High.
Yes.
So with that being said, I'm going to open up the table for conversation, and we're going to start with you, Tamisha. Okay. So, Miss Tamisha,
yes,
tell me about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm a mother of 3. I'm a hairstylist, formerly a hairstylist.
Okay.
I'm a child of God. That's the most important thing.
She
right
is
there.
that. I
I'm
can
a child of
testify
God.
to that.
Let me start over. Okay, I'm a child of God. I'm a mother of 3. Formerly a hairstylist. Right now, I'm a student. I'm going to school for social work.
Okay.
I would like to eventually, you know, help families that are kind of in the situation that I'm in. Just normal things. Just, you know, just a normal woman. You know, work, love my kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, try to guide my kids. Love the Lord.
How old are your children?
My children are, my oldest daughter is 21. My son is 16, and my youngest daughter is 14.
Okay, and out of your children, which one suffers from mental illness?
My 14-year-old, my youngest daughter.
Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically what I hear you saying is that, hey, you have a regular, normal life like we all do. You have 3 children,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're working, you're doing just whatever. And when did the onset of the mental illness begin?
Well, the onset of the mental illness happened about 2 years ago. She was 12, had just turned 12, I believe. And she just kind of went into a depression, and we didn't, it kind of came out of the blue. She had always been kind of labeled as oppositional defiant, like from second grade. She would get in trouble at school, have tantrums, tear up, throw things, different things. And she spent a lot of time, coming home.
Okay.
She didn't spend a lot of time in school, not a lot of time at all. And, I didn't understand that whole oppositional defiant thing. But I went along with the little counseling and stuff that the school offered. I even had a counselor myself to kind of help me deal with her moods, with how to discipline her when she's, because I would, she get in trouble with school, I'm taking her home, and
absolutely,
you know what's going on at home, right? Well, I tell you, but the it was a couple summers ago. This is actually going on 2 years, and she just started doing just really strange things, like she just get angry and would just like, get out of our car. She was with her sister once and got out of the car and just walked away. Like they were headed to like a water park. Just got upset. We still don't know why she got upset, and walked off to where I had to leave my job and go find her. She would hide in the crawl space and tell me things like she's not going to live too much. And just a lot of different things, just angry. And, like I said, point where she had put herself into a crawl space, and my oldest daughter said, Mom, I think she has a knife in there. She just kept telling me, I'm not going to live too much longer. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And she was like, you'll see. So, I panicked.
And she's 12.
She's 12. And I'm like, what are you, she's saying mean things to me. And I'm telling her, just, saying things.
Swearing, and she's
doing everything. And she's telling me mean things about myself. Like, what kind of woman? She's really like, she's being, she's assaulting me. Like, just like I don't know what's going on. She's just upset. And she had a hard day. She had a rough day. She had a confrontation with her sister, and my mother had to come over and get involved, and then she just completely disrespected my mother, and I was real bad about that, So, by the time I got home, it was just, she was, I don't know, maybe feeling, what she did, and she got into a crawl space and was just saying, I'm not talking, I'm not gonna live too much longer, and I couldn't get her out. Every time I would try to stick my head down to get, she would throw something. She was just, it was, and my doctor kept saying, Mom, she has a knife in there. She has a knife in there. And I'm like, oh, are you serious? I didn't know what to do. So I called 911. And the police came. And it took a while. And they were like, get out the way, ma'am. Because I'm trying to talk to her. Like,
exactly.
They're like, get out of there. They're trying to do. And she finally came out. And they asked her, was asking her, how do you feel? What's going on with you? And she was like, I just don't want to live. And I don't know what she had. But they took her. And she was admitted into like acute care.
Oh, wow.
And they said that she had like a major depressive disorder.
And she's 12 years old.
12. And I said, how is she depressed? She's not depressed.
Right.
And the doctor said,
what kind of problems could you possibly, that's what we think.
Right.
That's what we think.
Yeah. So it just, it came out of the blue, and it was just so traumatic for the family, period. Just, for me. And right away I knew like my life is getting ready to change. It's changing. I had seen earlier signs, like I said, it kind of happened over the summer, but it was like the end of May, when there was just something happened one particular day, and I was just like something, like pit, like something in the pit of my stomach is just like, something's getting ready to happen, and it did, and it just changed. It just changed everything, because her care just changed. The care that she needs, like it got to the point where she couldn't go to school.
Oh wow!
When she would go, she's having anxiety. She's calling me. They're talking about me. I can't do it. She's crying. She's upset. Or if she would go and not have like an anxiety attack or whatever, she would go and, she would get upset, and she would, throw over desk, or, assault another child, or walk out there. She AWOL is what they call it. Just
really. So, she's actually in class throwing up desks.
Yes.
So how are her teachers? Are her teachers afraid of her?
Yeah. Like I said, a lot of it was, come get her.
Yeah.
Come get her. We can't even, and then sometimes they would send her to like the in-school suspension, but she'll do the same thing in there. But it doesn't matter. Now I'm going to mess with these other kids that's in here, and, I'm still going to be so disrespectful to authority. Like, there's nothing you can say or do almost. It's like, it doesn't matter.
Now, she went to Columbus Public Schools, is that right? Now, they have no type of programs or anything for children with special needs of her nature?
They do. They have what they do, the IEP.
Yeah,
they have IEP for
Okay.
behavior and also for academic. And right, we started working on that in 2nd grade. So now at this point, you know, when she started showing these the depression, you know, this is at the end of her 6th grade year.
Right.
So, but when she first started, we first started working on her IEP for her behavior was in 2nd grade. And what they do is they have you go to meetings and they do interventions, you know, and okay, but we're going to try this. This is what we're going to try. We're going to try this for, you know, 6 to 8 weeks, and then we'll come back and see how that works, you know. And so a lot of it included with, you know, counseling with like directions for youth and youth and families and things of that nature. I think directions for youth was the main one, and she would do that from time, and then they get to a certain point, so they'll say, okay, we'll work with you for 3 months, and then if everything's fine, we'll close it out. So a lot of times, once we got everything in place, it was towards the end of the school year. They would do it a little bit over the summer, but she'll go back to school in the fall, and you know, she's comfortable for a little bit of time, and then she starts showing. And then now she's escalating, and she's getting, like I said, not much time in school, not much time at all. Wow. You know, and then it would be back to, okay, well, we got to do another intervention. And then, so the same thing has happened year after year after year after year up until 6th grade. Like I said, she had to have a complete meltdown at home, you know, and then, I got to really, really see.
And this started in the 2nd grade.
2nd grade, oppositional defiant disorder.
Wow.
Is what they were saying. And I'm like, that ain't, what is that? I have never, you will not get that on my channel.
Now, and you know what? And see, now here's where we get to the part where we talk about mental illness versus spirituality, because I totally am that parent too. I'm that one. It's like, because I had a son. Now he was not diagnosed because, you know, he basically a lot of the stuff you said, he experienced it. But I was, you know, I'm that African-American parent that, you know, it's like, ain't nothing wrong with you, boy. You just bad. Or, you know, not, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't want to say bad, but you know what I mean? It's like, we don't like to have labels put on our children.
Right.
And which is good in a sense, because I think that society is too quick to put labels and put medicine and all kind of things in our children. I think, you know, but on the same token, it's like you need to look deeper, because I mean, there's a lot of physiology going on. You know, there's chemical imbalances in some of our children, and that are like creating these behavior patterns. And you know, and it's like depression is dangerous.
It is.
You know, I mean, I don't think we take it serious enough. Depression is, and we think that children can't get it because we're like, what? You ain't got no bills. You know, what could you be depressed about? I mean, that's what we say. But, you know, we don't know their experience. So, you know, I mean, and that's one of the reasons why I think that we need to talk about this subject matter. I think we need to take this off the DL, because we need to change our thinking about mental illness, because it's serious. And I honestly, I'm not 100% convinced. Again, the school, I got my own opinion, like public school, not public school. I'm just going to say sometimes we have teachers in positions, like everybody that's teaching should not be a teacher.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
Because you know what, it's like, for real, anybody can sit up there and hand out papers and check grade papers. But a true teacher is like, understands that every child is an individual. And it's like, it's part of your job as a teacher to figure out the strategy to reach my child. Now, if my child has a chemical imbalance, I don't expect you to be able to do that. You know, I really don't, because that's
not trained.
That's right. They're not. That's why I can't expect that. But you're right. But that leads into the professionals. And now we're going to talk to you, Miss Barbara, because she's in the field. Okay. So first of all, you tell us who you are and tell us some of what you do.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm a child of God.
Amen.
And I do a lot of volunteer work through NAMI, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness.
Okay.
I teach several courses. I teach mental health first aid, peer-to-peer, ending the silence, which is a program that goes into the high schools and middle schools.
Oh, wow.
I'm missing one.
You said the mental health first aid.
Peer-to-peer, the connection support group.
You have the Hope Ministry.
Yeah, the Hope Ministry. We have a support group at church now at New Birth Christian Ministries. We have a support
Shout out to New Birth, New Birth Nation.
We have a support group there every Monday night from 6:30 to 8 p.m.
Wow.
in room 212.
I actually did not know that.
Yeah, and next week we'll have the peer-to-peer course, which is a 10-week course it's geared for people with mental health concerns, and it teaches them about their mental illness, the different triggers, coping strategies. There's one chapter that's dedicated to showing the differences in our brain structure. A lot of people don't understand that your brain is an organ, and your brain can get sick. And when your brain is sick, there are symptoms, just as if your heart or your liver was sick.
Wow.
So people don't understand that. They think you can snap out of it or get over it, but you can't get over something that's physiological.
That's right.
You know, and it doesn't have anything to do with demons or having a lack of faith. It's physiological, and we have to address that. We have to address the other areas also.
Absolutely.
But that's something that we have to address and accept. It's a sickness. And we're not our brain. Our brain is an organ, so it's not us. So part of that stigma is people making us feel as though something is wrong with us.
Right.
Like we're the disorder. Well, we're not the disorder.
Right.
So there's a lot of education that needs to still happen.
Wow. I am really, my hat's off to you and what you do. I think is very necessary. And as my eyes are being opened about this particular subject matter, you know, and you brought up something that's interesting to me, and it ties into the topic, spirituality versus mental health. You know, again, a lot of church people think that it's demon, that it's demonic possession and things like, and if I'm to be honest, at one time I thought that too. I really did.
Well, I did too, because of the way we were brought up.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just being real. I'm just keeping 100. I actually thought that's what it was. It's like, you know, I mean, that's a simple answer. You know, that's a simple answer. And it's not that I don't think that could be that demonic manifestation that could happen that way. But I mean, as you hopefully go on and you learn some things, you open up your mind and you read a couple of things and you talk to some people like Tamisha here, and you understand that it's more to it than what you think, or, you know, that the types of things, some of the things we've been taught, you know, it's just, I remember like when I first got saved, when my pastor wore glasses, I used to sit up here and think, he ain't got no faith.
What? Because he
had on glasses. I'm just for real. I really thought that.
Right.
I was like, to me, like when I first got saved, it was like everything was Jesus, and not that everything ain't Jesus now, but it was like, really, if you had a headache and you took the aspirin, I was like, you ain't got no faith. Okay?
Right. We know better, though. We do better.
Okay, yes. As we know better, we do better. That is so true. That is so true. But back, you know, I thank God for the Bible says my people perish from a lack of knowledge. Absolutely. And, you know, I think it's our responsibility as women of God to go and educate ourselves about things that are affecting the body, because here's my sister. She has a burden that's so heavy. You know, and it's like, and I'm not even praying the right way. You don't even know how to pray until you educate yourself and learn some things. So, you know, I just am thankful to you for being transparent and being willing to sit up here and share your truth with everyone. So thank you for that.
No problem.
I'd like to ask you about how this affected your family, because that wasn't your only child. And when you have a child in the midst, and then you have other children, it's like, number one, where's your attention going?
Right.
You know, number two, how disruptive is that for the other children? So if you would speak to that, that would be great.
Well, yeah, division, a lot of division. Of course, because, right, the discipline, like, okay, well, my children aren't outrageously bad, you know.
Right.
Even my daughter with the problem, you know, she's still a child. She's still a beautiful young lady, and you know, so much potential. You know, so once we get past this, I mean, she's going to be able to do whatever. But you know, of course, you know, dealing with her, you know, the other children, you know, well, you know, Raven, you know, she did this, and you didn't say, but it caused problems with them, like, you know, the closeness between her and her brother.
Okay.
They, you know, the older sister, they've always had a little bit of strain. I think just the two girls,
Okay.
the attention.
Gotcha.
And I had the difference in age. I could do certain things with the oldest one that I couldn't necessarily do with the youngest. So
they don't always understand that.
But it's a whole though. We do things as a whole, but still, there's certain things that we could talk about. That I could say to my oldest and the youngest. It's just, you just can't, we can't talk about it.
Right.
But it got to the point where, of course, my oldest left. She couldn't stay there any longer.
Did she leave as a result of the confusion that your other daughter's illness brought to the family?
Yeah, the confusion, and there was property damage. There was property damage. I mean,
okay.
My youngest got so mad one time that she poured bleach all over her sister's items, and she set fire to them.
And set fire to
them in my house while we're there. We're in there with all of us are there, and the puppies, all the animals. Yeah.
And she set fire.
Set fire and walked away like it wasn't nothing.
Wow.
Yep.
So basically,
over an argument we were watching TV and arguing over something about one of the puppies. And I told the oldest, stop, leave her alone, let her go. And, shut up. I'm gonna shut up. And, and the oldest stopped, but the youngest, just everything escalates. Nothing it's her responses to things are never
measured.
Yeah.
They're always
way out of proportion.
Yeah.
And it doesn't call for it. I mean, just, you sit back and you're like, well, what?
Everything is a 10. Yeah.
Yeah. It really was not called for. And that lets you know that something is going on.
Absolutely.
Everything is like that. Like
absolutely.
She couldn't function at school. Couldn't function at home. She couldn't even function over my parents' house. Like that was her, her place to go.
Escape.
Mm-hmm. They kept my children when I would work. And my parents are not the parents that I had. They let things go. Different things. We all can sit back and say that. We all know grandparents.
I'm a grandparent, so I know.
Yeah. So
yeah.
But and they weren't so hard on her. They didn't, they didn't spank and
they just love. We just love on her. That's our job, though.
But even that, she got to where, being over there was just, being a problem. It was a problem. It just caused so much stress in the unit, and no one could agree on different things, how to deal with her.
I bet that was really hard on your parents.
Yes.
Because I know how, as a grandmother, for me, like, ooh, those babies, you love them. Like, it's a powerful kind of love. It's like, you think you love your children until you have grandchildren. And I hope my children aren't listening. I do. I hope they're not listening, because I tell you that love that you have for your grandbabies is like, I mean, it's amazing.
Because you don't have all the worry.
No, all we do. That's right. Exactly. All you have to do is love them. I don't have to raise them. I just have to love them. So it's an amazing connection that you have with. So I know for your mother and father must have been really difficult.
Especially my mother. My mother actually used to say things when she was younger, like, Tamisha, I don't know, something.
She saw something, yeah.
And I'd be like, get out of here. You always,
yeah.
She would say it like, because I'm sensitive, so she had to be careful. I would say things to me, so she would say things like, kind of like,
you mind your sensitivity, okay?
Right. So she would say like joking, kind of like, seriously, girl, or something. I don't know, because she would, and I don't remember. Because like I said, she my parents a lot, but my mom said, she would get upset about things, and then she would just hold on it. It was nothing we could ever do to get her to come out of that, she's just angry and she's just mad, and she would ruin a lot of things for her brother. Oh my God. And they were closer in age, her brother and my daughter, my youngest. And like it shuts down a lot of trips and, activities we were planning because so, I mean, it's, we laugh about it now, but it's just, that's how it's been.
Yeah.
And, my mom kind of spotted it, and I was like, I ain't know, because you don't want anyone, you don't want your kids to be abnormal. Or problems, I never would have guessed this. You could have paid me millions upon millions to ever believe that this would be the reality from my daughter, from my family, you couldn't pay me. And this is somebody else's story.
And don't you think that, especially being in church, it's like, you just think that, how many times do you have them on the prayer line? It's like you had them up there like getting prayed on. You had them putting oil on them kids. Today was like a greasy,
We were there. We were there. There were certain things that we did in our house, and and we were there. We were at church, Wednesday evenings, Sundays. We were involved, and I had a hard time with me and God.
I was gonna, and that I'm glad you're talking about that.
Because I'm part of the ministry at my church. I'm in leadership there, and and I really thought that was enough to get by, and so, rude awakening. And I said, Lord, how can this happen? This is not,
right.
I'm faithful to
right.
you.
Exactly.
I go to church all the time.
That's just real.
I pay my tithes.
Yeah.
What is this? Are you kidding me? How am I going to leave my friends and family to you when they see me going through this?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
confused, and he had to deal with me on that. And
wow,
he just let me know that in your situation, I'm about to show my strength. I'm getting ready to show everybody just how great I am through your situation. But it took me a while to see that. I had to get depressed and worried about my child, stop doing everything that I was doing my life, everything, the school, the job. I was working on my way. I had my trainer was absolutely the bomb.
Yeah,
I mean, she worked hard with me.
Know your trainer.
My trainer, so
I know her trainer.
She had me losing weight. I was losing weight. I mean, everything just halted, and I did. I went through a deep depression.
Wow.
And then I just had to, I really had to go back and apologize. I had to repent for even that questioning, his plan for my life. God's plan for my life.
Yeah, that's good.
And then I had to say, look, actually, Lord, I'm actually grateful that while this is going on, that you called me into you long ago. I couldn't imagine going through this and not knowing you.
Exactly.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah. No. So
you've been in the corner with a tissue, tearing up tissue or something.
I
know. It would have been too much. It would have been too much. Loretta, you work in the field, but you shared with me that you also have experienced some issues yourself with depression. Do you mind sharing with us about your own experience?
Oh, no, I don't. Both my parents were alcoholics. So I grew up in a very volatile situation. And molestation came real early in my life also.
Oh, yeah.
So something happened when I was 8. Well, I got abandoned in an empty apartment when I was 8.
Wow.
My mom, she moved out of town while I was at school.
Oh, wow.
And that was my first suicide attempt at age 8. I don't even know how that kind of thought comes into a child's head.
At 8.
At 8 years old.
How do you even know to do that?
But my whole childhood and teen years were very rocky.
Okay.
Filled with a lot of turmoil, a lot that I brought on myself because of the situation, that I was in and not knowing how to deal with it. And then growing up at a time, we didn't go to counseling.
No, we didn't.
What goes on at home stays at home.
That's right.
Talk
That's
about
right.
it. So, everything was hush hush. And I know there were, I can think of a couple of suicide attempts now where I would take like whole handfuls of pills.
Wow.
Because I felt so undeserving.
Yes.
Because I always felt like if your mother and father didn't want you, then you really must be unlovable.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the way I lived my life, in a very self-destructive manner.
That's so sad.
So it caused me to not be able to function in relationships.
Yeah.
Because I either chose or attracted the wrong type of people that I, wanted to care for, and but couldn't get cared for back. My whole thinking was changed, because of the different events in my life. And I grew up and got married a couple of times. And they didn't work out, and I ended up my son had mental health problems himself. And I thought I was going to have a nervous breakdown behind him. But anyway, God used everything in my life, every situation in my life, to his good and to his glory.
Yes.
And so now, through all of my tribulations, I found my purpose.
Yes.
Because I had lost my purpose when I came off my job. And, we think our life is supposed to go a certain way.
Yes, we do.
We have it planned out. And when I get 62, I'm going to retire and I'm going to do this and
that.
But it normally doesn't work out that way. So I had to really reinvent myself, or God reinvented me. From the last time I was going to commit suicide was probably in 2011, and I didn't tell a soul, but God intervened.
Wow.
But anyway, through everything that I've gone through, God has used all of my
Yeah,
experiences
He will.
to help other people.
He will.
So I'm in my calling.
Yes, you are.
I'm in my calling. So I work for God.
Yes, you are. Wow, you ladies are really I just appreciate your honesty and your testimonies. And right now we are going to open up the phone lines because we have heard some great words of wisdom. We've heard people share things that, you know, a lot of us don't want to talk about, which is the name of the show, Off the DL, because these are subject matters. We don't want to talk about the things that are truly destroying us internally. And this is why this whole show came to fruition. So we are taking it off the DL, but not just because we're going to talk about it, but we're taking it off the DL so we can give it to the Most High.
Yes.
Taking it off the download to give it to the Most High. We're going to open up our phone lines now. And the number to call in is 614-577-1434. And I'm going to repeat it, 614-577-1434. And we got a caller. Caller, you on the show Off the DL.
Hi, I am just calling. I am just enjoying your show so much. I have a question. I have a niece in a similar situation, and I found that I don't know who to turn to. I mean, which organizations help out in these situations? I mean, they give you a name, and then it seems like you'll go somewhere and they drop the ball, and no one's really helping. Is there any way I could get help for her situation? She has a few issues. Depression is one. A lot of things. A lot of different issues, but she needs help. Can you help me with that?
Yes, we would love to speak to you about that. It's not going to be me. We have some experts here. So what I do want to ask one question. Where is your niece located? Is she in Ohio?
She's in Ohio. She's in Cleveland.
Okay.
Ohio.
I'm going to let Larita answer that because she's working in the field and knows all the resources. Larita, can you speak to her question?
Well, I'll still give you the same resource. NAMI, excuse me. NAMI is one of the places, National Alliance on Mental Illness. It's one of the places people call for resources to find out where to go.
Oh, great.
So NAMI's phone number is 614-501-6264.
Could you give me the name one more time?
Excuse me. Yes, it's National Alliance on Mental Illness.
Okay.
And
and that number one more time.
614-501-6264.
Thank you so much.
And
you guys have been so much help.
I can even give you a name. I can give you a name.
She says she can actually give you a name at that number as well.
Okay.
Rochelle Martin. She's the executive director. And she is not a person that drops the ball at all. And she is a wealth of information. She's been working in the field for decades. And she is very knowledgeable. So she can point you in the direction that you need to go. There's a NAMI in your city. So if you go to NAMI.org, you can find your local NAMI also for further resources.
Okay. Thank you so much. You've been so much help.
Thank you. Thank you, caller.
All righty. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Our phone lines are still open. Please give us a call, 614-577-1434. Our phone lines are open. And I would like to really, so that would, if the caller, is that number good for everyone in the state of Ohio, or is that just local to?
No, that's NAMI Franklin County.
Okay, that's Franklin County. Yeah. Okay, but but
she can refer to NAMIs in other cities.
Gotcha. Okay, that'd be great.
We're all linked together.
All right. Okay. You're listening to Off the DL with DL Augustine. And I want you to give us a call if you're listening. If you have a question, if you're dealing with mental illness, know someone who is. The number is 614-577-1434. 614-577-1434. And we had a caller. They just hung up. Caller, if you're there, call back. And now, and here's another question that I wanted to ask. Now, you basically you've taken something that could have destroyed you and turned it into your mission. I love that. And, isn't that so much how God works out? We got a caller. Let's go ahead to the lines. Caller, you on the line with Off the DL.
Hi, I've been listening to your show. It's really great what you women are doing. And I want to say from the bottom of my heart, I know I had nothing to do with it, but I'm sorry for all of the things that you and many people just have to face in dealing with all these things in life. I'm really sorry to hear, but I'm still so uplifted that God made it something positive, and that's all I wanted to say.
All right. Thank you, caller, for that call. We appreciate it, and thank you for those words of encouragement.
So thank y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow, you're listening to Off the DL with DL Augustine. Right now, tonight, our subject matter is mental illness versus spirituality. Our phone lines are open. Give us a call at 614-577-1434. And again, if you're experiencing anything, depression, if you are dealing with things from your past that, you just can't seem to get by, and maybe you just need to talk to someone. It is no shame in having a problem or being depressed or, experiencing mental illness, whatever it is, no matter what it is, there's no shame in that. And don't ever let anyone make you feel ashamed that you have an issue, because we all experience something. Tonight we're talking about mental illness, but yours may be something else. But my call out to you is that, again, you are not alone. You're not by yourself, and there's nothing wrong with you. You just need to talk to someone. You just need to get the help that you need. And we got a caller. One moment. Thank you. You're listening to Off the DL with DL Augustine. Caller, what can I help you with tonight?
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
I was listening to your show, and I just want to say thank you so very much. You women are awesomely anointed, and you just have no idea how you're touching the lives of so many people. So I just wanted to offer words of encouragement and know that we're praying with you and for you. And I just want to say thank you for the young lady for sharing her personal story.
Amen.
You never know how it impacts somebody else's life. It's such a touchy subject.
Yes, it is.
People are often fearful of being judged.
Yes.
But you've created an avenue where people can be free and have a safe place to be open and to be healed.
Yes, exactly.
I'm just in thanking Mrs. Barbara, who's connected with NAM, and I've done some research in her organization, and it's an awesome organization. So I would encourage anyone who's listening, who has family members, friends, to get connected, get help, and get healed, and just know that we're praying with you.
That's right. Amen. Well, thank you, sister, for your comments. I truly appreciate them, and I'm sure the ladies do too.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Be blessed.
Bye-bye.
There's another phone number I'd like to put out there, and that's the National Suicide Hotline. And that number is 1-800-273-TALK, 1-800-273, I believe it's 8255. But you can call that number also as a resource. Even if you're not feeling suicidal, you can call that number to be pointed in a direction to be able to get the help that you need.
All right. So at this time, I think we're going to take a pause for the calls, and we will be back.
Off the DL with DL Augustine, coming to you live every Wednesday, 7 p.m. on Holy Hills Radio, the #1 internet radio station in the world. To listen, go to www.holyhillsradio.com, or you can call in and listen at 401-347-0380. Again, that's 401-347-0380.
Delivered, I found joy. Grace and favor.
I've been changed in the presence of the Lord. I've been free, delivered, and in your presence, Lord. Grace and favor, and right now, today, I've been changed. I've been changed, and I have waited for this moment to come, and I won't let it pass because. So we say, I won't go back, can't go back to the way it used to be. For your presence came and changed me. Say I won't go, I can't go back to the way it used to be. For your presence came and changed me. Lord, my shame. They've been forgiven. No more shame. My past is over. It's over. Say right now, it's over. Today, I've been changed. Come on, somebody declare that. I've been changed. And I am well.
We're back, and you're listening to Off the DL with me, your host, DL Augustine. And tonight, our guests are Tamisha McKenzie and Loretta Barber. And our topic for discussion is mental illness versus spirituality. And for those of you who are just tuning in, Tamisha is the mother of a 14-year-old daughter who is suffering from a mental illness. And Loretta works in the field. So we've talked about several different things here. And, and basically what I'd like to say at this time is that if you are experiencing mental illness or you have a family member that's experiencing mental illness, the main thing that you don't want to do is judge them. Mm-hmm. The main thing you don't want to do is to dismiss their feelings. Right. And especially as someone as young as Tamisha's daughter, because oftentimes we as parents, and especially African American parents, if our children are acting depressed or they say that they're depressed, we dismiss them. We dismiss them because we feel like, what do you have to be depressed about? You don't work, I pay all your bills, so we don't take it serious. And that is the main thing we need to do here, tonight is bringing awareness so that we can begin to notice the signs of mental illness and to take the right steps once we do see the signs. So with that being said, I'm going to go back over to you, Tamisha. And so if you're speaking to the mothers out there, or the parents, not just mothers, parents, what would you say to them as far as to bring awareness to them about whether or not they're looking at a situation where they may need to take another step, or they may need to do a little research?
Well, like I said, my daughter started to show problems in school. There was problems at my parents' house, when she was a kid, but at school was the main problem, and it became like she wasn't there,
right?
So she couldn't function in school, and then it got to where she couldn't function, at my parents' house, and then it eventually where she couldn't function at home, and it's the same problem, the same thing that that tantrum, that explosive.
So there's a pattern.
There's a pattern, and it just disrupts the daily function.
Okay.
And then she got to points where she she stopped sleeping, just different things like that. But it was mostly the temper, just being irritable all the time, just inappropriately reacting to situations that just under normal circumstances, in I guess in a normal frame of mind, you wouldn't react like that,
right?
And so I think that
so basically
when you have a child
overreacting,
that irritability, right? And the teacher calling constantly, she's in here throwing over chairs. I mean, this is 3 times out of the week, a 5-day week at school. I mean, this is constant, and so you have to. Kids are right. They have a degree of badness, but there's certain things that go beyond.
Right.
And
that's true.
When you start to see a pattern, a routine of disruption in your child's life, you have to pay attention to that. And I know we're busy. I was busy. I was, working mom.
Exactly.
I had other 2 kids that I was, taking care of. We had activities and things we're doing. But it almost got, it almost went bad.
Yes, exactly.
And just had I just paid a little more attention, maybe, or.
And so that's a very good point that you just said. If I had paid a little more attention, very good point. If you, before you close, I want you to speak to the parents out there. And if you had one thing that you could tell them, what would it be? What do you regret about once your daughter, reached that point where your life exploded? And, and we always have a point where we look back and we see like, I should have, Well,
I do. I look back and I regret the times that I spanked her, or just, I don't believe you. She'll say, oh, this is what's going on. I don't believe you. You wouldn't be getting in trouble if maybe if I just would have been a little softer. I think there was times where I was very hard. On her, because just as much as she's bothering the teachers at school, that's bothersome to me.
Exactly, it is.
And then why won't you behave? What is the problem?
Right.
You're smart.
Yeah.
You can do this.
Yeah.
What is the problem? But I just couldn't see that. And then there was even times where, like I said, just doing activities with the family where she would just be she just not involved. We're having fun. We're doing this. We're at the water park and you're laying on the chair and it's your birthday weekend.
Wow.
And you won't get in the water. She was going through, and her father passed away. So she was going through some things. But I just didn't recognize it as what it was. And if I just would have been, I don't know, I think it's just important that we take time, even in our busy lives, just to take time, and we all have, your children, just give time to that child. If it's, 5-10 minutes just to sit down and say, okay, look, what's going on, and not that I wasn't attentive.
I know. I know exactly more.
What you're saying. She required more.
But sometimes as parents, we fly on automatic pilot. We do. We fly on autopilot. So, Miss Loretta, what would you like to speak to before we begin to have our last words? What would you like to speak to?
Well, first, quickly, I just wanted to clarify, I'm not a professional. I'm a peer.
Right.
I'm a person with lived experience. I'm not a doctor, psychologist, therapist, or anything. I have the lived experience. And the one thing I want to say is to watch and to listen. Because normally when a change starts to happen in a person, other people see it before they do.
Right.
And so in that change, it could be anything. It could be to the extreme, or it could be where they're totally cut off.
Right.
They're not acting themselves.
Right.
And we have to ask the hard questions that we're uncomfortable with asking. Like, are you feeling suicidal? That's hard for people to say, because that's hard. You know, you feel like it's an infringement, you know, on their privacy, but it's a matter of life and death.
Yes, it is.
And so we have to watch, we have to listen, we have to pray. And when we see someone that's in trouble, talk to them, sit down and listen to them, non-judgmentally. Listen to them.
Without judgment.
Without judgment. And allow them to speak their truth.
Yes.
And then just be there as that support. Because if the person doesn't feel safe, or they feel like they're going to be judged, they're not going to open up.
They're not going to open up.
And that's the very reason I wanted to, you know, bring these services into the church.
Yeah.
Because you should be able to go to church and not have to bleed
at
church. You ought to be able to go to church and get help. So we need it right there, especially where there's so much stigma.
Yes.
We need to begin to break that down.
I agree.
And
I
education breaks down stigma.
Yeah, it does. It does. And, you know, I tell you, I just so appreciate the truths that both you ladies have brought to this table. I heard you say, you know, like, hey, I was raised dysfunctional and both my parents were alcoholic. Well, I had one, my mom, and she was an alcoholic. So I totally know about being raised dysfunctional. I know about being broken, having those broken places and molestation and, you know, being out there, being basically raising yourself, you know. And so, I mean, that is a truth that I absolutely know, which thank God, you know, your baby had a good mom that was on watch. And so don't you ever, you know, like you said to, like we tell your daughter, like, we don't no judgment here, no judgment here, because I know the character, your character, I know the mother that you are. So you were a good mother. You were on your watch, you know, you were on your watch. And so for you, my hat's off to you. You're a great mom, and I think you're doing a great job. I really do. But yes, mental illness is something that carries a stigma. Mental illness, people like to put you in a box. They like to put you in a box. But we are here today to say that we don't agree with that. We don't.
Not at all.
We don't agree with that. And we would just like to, I would like to thank both my guests for coming on to the show. Really, I really appreciate having you both on.
Thanks for having us.
I really do. And as we prepare to bring our show to a close tonight, I'd like to, again, thank everyone who took the time to tune in, to call in, to pray, or whatever role you played in tonight's broadcast. Our guests tonight have shared a very private pain with us in the hopes that it will resonate with you, our listening audience, and that you would know that you are not alone. First of all, you are not alone. You know, the enemy likes to isolate, make you feel isolated, make you feel like you're alone and nobody cares and nobody is out there listening to you, but we are listening to you. God sees and God cares. Don't forget to tune in next Wednesday to Off the DL, same time, same place. And with that being said, may the grace of God go with you. May it surround you and protect you until that great trumpet sounds, and that we know that the dead in Christ shall rise first, and we who are alive and remain shall be caught up to meet him in the air. Until that time, take us home, Mike.
Off the DL. Yeah.
We gon' take it on the down low. We gon' give it to the most high. We gon' take it on the down low. We gon' give it to the most high. We gon' take it on the down low. We gon' give it to the most high. We gon' take it on the down low. And we gon' give it to the most high. Time to make it call to DL. It's time to take